Roanoke had returned. Not as whispers in history books, not as a cold case long forgotten, but as something alive, something that had been waiting, watching, preparing. The marked ones were back. And they had brought something with them. The town that disappeared overnight. The morning after the storm, Manteo, North Carolina, was silent. No people. No movement. No sign that anyone had ever lived there at all. Cars sat abandoned in the streets. Dinners remained half-eaten on tables. Phones, still charged, buzzed endlessly with unheard messages. A team of state troopers arrived to investigate. Within minutes, their radios cut out. Within hours, their voices joined the silence. By the next day, the troopers were gone, too. Manteo had vanished. The only trace of life? The word Croatoan, now burned into the asphalt of Main Street, stretching for blocks. But this time, it was different. This time, the word was moving. Shifting, twisting like it was alive. The first to fall. The infection started slow. On the surface, it looked like a memory glitch, a simple lapse in thought. People who had visited Manteo before suddenly found themselves unable to recall what the town even looked like. They could remember driving past it, could remember the name but not the details. Then came the whispers. At first, only a handful of people heard them, low, rhythmic murmurs at the edge of their hearing, like something just beneath the surface of reality was trying to be remembered. And those who listened too long, they changed. They forgot who they were. They forgot what it meant to be human. They became something else. The eyes in the dark. Security cameras in nearby towns started catching strange figures moving in the streets at night. They didn't walk normally. Their limbs moved awkwardly, like they were unused to being in human bodies. Their faces were always turned toward the cameras watching. Their eyes burned like dying embers. At first, it was just one or two. But then there were dozens. Hundreds. Some of them looked familiar. People who had gone missing weeks ago. People who had once lived in Manteo. They had returned. But they weren't human anymore. The infection spreads. The news it, the Roanoke Mystery. A harmless misthirst. A strange disappearance, an unsolved case. But then, people in major cities started vanishing. First, one or two. Then entire neighborhoods. The ones who remained behind spoke of hearing soft whispers in the middle of the night, whispers that called them toward the woods, toward the dark, toward something waiting beneath the surface of the world. A scientist in Washington, D.C. was the first to confirm it. It wasn't just disappearances. It was a sickness. A virus that didn't attack the body, it attacked memory. The more you thought about Roanoke, the more it thought about you. And once it knew you were aware of it, it never let you go. A world fading away. It's been 6 months since Manteo disappeared. The infection has spread globally. Entire cities stand empty, silent reminders of what once was. And those left behind? They can feel it, reality unraveling around them. Voices whispering from nowhere. Shadows that don't belong to anything. And the creeping realization that something is watching them from the dark. Waiting. Because the marked ones never wanted revenge. They wanted to return. And now? They're everywhere. Are you already infected? This is the final warning. If you've made it this far, then it already knows you exist. The infection spreads through memory, through thought. And now, you've thought about it. You've read the name. You've remembered Roanoke. And now, Roanoke remembers you. Listen closely. Do you hear it? The whispering? The calling? It's too late.